good evening, hello to all of you, and thank you so much for tuning in. There must be so many people from different parts or friends, relatives. Thank you very much for joining me today. Um, Before I start, I'd love to thank Munch UK, headed by Meera Kaushik, and ably supported by four wonderful people, Subhalakshmi, Suhani, Vidya Patel, and Ambika, who have done an amazing job in creating this forum, especially in this time when all of us are cooped inside, but we are still able to share each other's lives. So thank you, Meera. Thank you to the Munch team. I will start with a brief outline of my story, mainly connected with the arts, and then show you a glimpse of Mohiniyattam today. I've chosen to do Mohiniyattam. Just it's because it's I'm planning to do it outside, so it's less loud and harsh for the neighbors. So you'll have a glimpse of Mohiniyattam at the end. So I'll start off with telling you the story of where I was born. So I was born in KGF, Kolar Goldfields in Karnataka, a little place in Karnataka. My grandfather used to work for the gold mines, which was run by the British back in the day. And my parents used to live in Madurai. So soon after my birth, I was taken to Madurai, the beautiful, auspicious place of Madurai Meenakshi. And sometimes I feel that Meenakshi's energy and strength was embedded in me from then. From Madurai, my parents moved to Bangalore when I was 3 or 3.5, and since then I was in Bangalore till about 17, 18 years old. So my first encounter with dance was purely because of my mother, Shobha. She was from a family that did not believe in girls learning dance and performing on stage. The maximum they were allowed to do was learn music, but she was crazy about dance. So I have an older sister, Sharmila, who's a year and a half older. And my mother was so excited, 2 girls, she wanted to put us for dance. She searched around, she found a teacher called Hemalata, and she used to take us religiously in a cycle rickshaw 3 times a week. So, I feel so sorry for the person that now when I think back, but we used to be so excited to sit in the cycle rickshaw and go for about 1.5 hours to just reach the dance class. And then spend about 2.5 hours there. Little children, so I can only remember a lot of adavus. In fact, I was not learning first, my sister only had joined. And the first opportunity that she went on stage and danced, I remember I must have been 5. I was peeping from the side and I was miming the entire dance from the side. So I think that's when my mom and the teacher decided I'm also ready to learn. So it was a short stint with the Hemalata teacher. By the time my mother's friend Sridevi Unni, who's Monisha Unni's mother, very good childhood friend of mine, her mother Sridevi Unni told my mother, please put the children with Padmi Ramchandran. And then that is how I got introduced to my Guru Padmi Ramchandran of the Varavur Bani. She's a disciple of, she's late Guru Padmi Ramchandran. She passed away a few years ago. She was a disciple of Guru S.K. Kameshwaran as well as Varavur Ramepillai sir. So we went to her class, I was 8 I think, and I found a whole different structure and atmosphere from my previous teacher. Padmi auntie was somebody like filled with energy, filled with enthusiasm and what shall I say, very proactive, very creative and determined person. Like if she thought of something, she would make it happen. I think she tried to imbibe that in all of us from our childhood. Wonderful person, and we had some lovely years with her, about 10, 11 years, 8 to about 18, 10 years, did my Arangetram. By the time I was 10, she started saying to my mother, Sharmila and Shalini should start training for their Arangetram. And by 12.5, close to 13, under 13, I finished my Arangetram along with my sister. Actually, I want to show you that. This is a picture of Sharmila, my sister, and me. Avi, you must check if you can be seen. And this is from this is our little brochure of our Arangetram, flyer or whatever. And then this is on stage. So my dad decided to have the flower decoration as two S's, Sharmila and Shalini. So that's from our Arangetram album. Before that, I want to go back to when I was 7 or 8 with my old teacher. I did something called Gajje Puja or Salangai Puja. So I was like 7, I think, in this. I think I was wearing a wig. I don't think I had proper hair even. So with my sister, we performed a lot. With Padmi Auntie's group, solo. I mean, not much solos, more of duets, me and my sister, or with the group. And in dance dramas, so Kutrala Kuruvanji, Sambhavami Yuge Yuge, we used to travel around the country in trains, buses. Lovely it was, lovely experiences. Himashweta, there was a dance drama called Himashweta, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs that Padmi Auntie had created. Wonderful creation. And I used to always get male characters. I was a bit of a tomboy, so I used to get either one Krishna, or I was the prince in Himashweta, or Rama, or any male character. I used to be jealous. My sister was always princesses and queens and all that, and I was always like either the Sakhi or the male character. Anyway, after that, suddenly my father got transferred from Bangalore and he moved to Calicut, which was for us a start. I am Keralite by origin, but I never lived in Kerala. So when my father got this transfer to Calicut, my mother was very thrilled because it would be close to her parents. So we all moved and I was feeling very, very shaky because dance, I was obsessed with dance. During my childhood with my sister, going to dance class, while coming back in the auto rickshaw, I'll be practicing the actions, the adabus, I'll be reciting the chorways, I'll be trying to sing the dance. I had a horrible voice. Even today I can't sing at all, but I keep trying. I don't give up on that. I'm still learning also. So I used to keep singing, and she used to get irritated. She'd say, even while sleeping, your legs will be going, something with your legs you'll be doing in the bed. Can you stop it? She would say. So that was evident, I think, from that time that for me it was an obsession. And when they said we're leaving Bangalore, I felt like, oh my God, I'm leaving my guru. And I have to tell you something about Bangalore before I leave Bangalore. My father, Mr. Shivashankar, he founded an organization called East Cultural Association, which was an organization purely to spread culture and art in Karnataka. In Bangalore, my father had this vision that it should spread all over. Everyone should be engaged in watching a lot of classical art forms. And therefore, he brought lots of artists throughout his time in Bangalore. When we come back later, I will probably tell you that Upahar and what I'm doing at Upahar is probably an extension of what my dad used to do. My dad is no more. I have seen artists like Sonal Mansingh, Yamini Krishnamurthy, Master Dhananjayan sir, who I was ardently in love with from when I was a child. I used to always think if I want to learn from anybody, I want to learn from Dhananjayan sir. I don't know why. I always admired Master and Akka, and they came with their big group. I've seen him and Satya and Akka and all dancing long back. Then Sonal Mansingh, Yamini Krishnamurthy, then the Sarabais, then Krishna Nair Ashan, Kathakali, Gopi Ashan, Chakyar Kooth, Nangyar Kooth. My father brought all that to Bangalore. So as a child living in Bangalore, which is like people living in UK compared to Kerala or Chennai, Bangalore was a bit, cosmopolitan and very, the arts were there, but I think it was all largely because of organizations like what my dad set up. So we were really fortunate to see so much as we were growing up. So when we moved to Kerala, my only problem was, what do I do? No guru. I can't be without a guru. What do I do? Anyway, we joined college over there, and Auntie was also very sad that I moved. My sister immediately got married, and she kind of gave up dancing and all that. And I'm sure she can still dance if she starts, but life turned in such a way that she gave up dancing. And I was just obsessed. I wanted to join Kalakshetra. I didn't want to do degree. I didn't want to go to a regular college. I was just rebellious. Didn't want to. Very good at academics. Highest in school in Francis Xavier's, a convent in Bangalore where I studied. But didn't want to take up academics. I wanted to just take up dance. But my dad put his foot down and said, no, dance and all is fine, but you have to do a regular degree. And that's how I went and did my BA Literature. At that time in college, I started taking part in competitions and everything. And I met Shamla auntie, Shamla Surendran. One day she came from Spik Mackay. She came with Kalanidhi Mami to Providence College, and she performed there. She was demoing what Mami was lecturing, and she was demoing. And I went and spoke to her, and I instant connection with Shamla auntie. I don't know why. I must have been 17 or 18, and she was a few. I used to call her Shamla Chechi. She's closer to my mom's age, and I was so mesmerized. She looked so young. She didn't look her age anyway. Then that was it, one brief interaction with Shamla auntie. But then when I went to intercollegiate competitions, inter-university to Cochin, I bumped into her again, and I got the prize and all that. But she came up to me and she told me, there are some things I can, if you change few things, your style will be very good, she said. Then I said, oh, I really wish you can tell me. I'd love to come and, understand these improvements. And at the same time, I said, my Mohiniyattam was okay, but who are these people? They're dancing so beautifully. And they were students of Guru Kalyanikutti Amma and Guru Sridevi Rajan, Kalyanikutti Amma's daughter. And I was so fortunate in that very place. I got to meet Kalyanikutti Amma and her daughter Guru Sridevi Rajan. And I was immediately, I took their blessings, and I said, will I be able to learn from you? And Sridevi Rajan, that is money teacher, I call her fondly money teacher, or we all call her money teacher. She said, yes, of course, but you live in Calicut, how will you come? I said, don't worry, I will come. And then I started bombarding my mother. We have to go to Cochin, and I want to learn both. I want to learn from Shamla Chechi to correct all the things she told me, and I want to learn from money teacher. My mom and dad said, like, are you crazy? We live in Calicut. So it's a 5.5-hour journey from Calicut to Cochin. And I'm like 18, 19. And I refused. I just put my foot down and I told my mother, every Friday evening we need to go to Cochin. And we would take the train, go stay for the weekend, learn Mohiniyattam, Bharatanatyam. And then I met this wonderful interactions with Kathakali artists. And I just started getting drawn to Kathakali. And I said, I want to learn Kathakali as well. So then I had a little experience. I learned Kathakali. That is my master, Vasu master. It was a short stint. I think I learned only for about a year. And after that, I called my guru back in Bangalore and I told her, I'm learning Kathakali. She said, don't try to mix all these art forms. You'll be just one big hodgepodge. Make up your mind. If you want to do Kathakali, go do Kathakali. If it's Bharatanatyam, stick to Bharatanatyam. And I realized you need a lifetime, more than a lifetime, to train in one art form, where there's a question of 2 and 3 art forms. You can get a feel of other art forms, but you can really, really immerse yourself completely only in one. I mean, from experience, I also agree, because I'm steeped in Bharatanatyam, but I love Mohiniyattam because of my years in Kerala and my training with them. I'm nowhere, not even close to being accomplished in Mohiniyattam in any way. Long way to go, even in Bharatanatyam for that matter. But lovely experience it was to learn Kathakali. It taught me about how much you can do with the facial muscles. But I had to sadly give it up. I just did 1 or 2 performances and I gave it up. And this is my old days Mohiniyattam performances that I used to do. Then after that I got married and I moved to Cochin. I was very excited because I'm moving to Cochin. And I'm like, wow, I can continue all this. So I continued. I had Pallavi, and she was a little girl. I used to carry her and take her with me to dance class to Shamla auntie's house. She'll sit there the whole day. The whole 2-3 hours. Again, bus journey, carrying child, going there, sitting, learning, coming back. Very supportive in-laws. They were fully in favor of me doing my dance and everything. Then we moved to Bahrain. Pallavi's father and myself and she. But somehow the marriage didn't work. So that was unfortunate, very, very unfortunate part of my life. And then I had a big phase where I didn't dance at all. I last performed in 1995 in Bahrain. And then till 2005 I didn't perform. But I was always involved teaching in Bahrain as well. Obviously I was teaching Pallavi. She was about 5. From when she was 5 I started teaching her. And along with her, a few students. Meenakshi Ravi, if she's there watching, she also used to come. She was learning from Srilata Vinod, and whenever Srilata was traveling or things, she used to also come. So it was really lovely. We had a nice group. I was teaching and enjoying that side, but I just could not perform. Something was missing and I couldn't perform. Then I came to UK in 2002 as a single mom. After the marriage after the divorce, I came with Pallavi in 2002 to the UK. Completely new to this country. I had no clue, nothing. I just knew one or two people, and I took a little flat in St. John's Wood. And the first person I met in the dance art field is Chitra Sundaram. I don't know if she's watching, but unforgettable. I was so excited meeting somebody from the dance world. But again, it was all, dance was a kind of a backseat. I was trying to survive. I had to have a job, look after myself and Pallavi, and I was also taking care of my dependent parents at the time. So I joined Standard Chartered Bank, corporate life. Even in Bahrain, I was working for several years. Dance was always weekends, teaching on weekends. Dance took a very, 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 very back seat for many years, more than 10 years if you ask me. But teaching I always did. The reason I'm so fascinated that I was always teaching was I was teaching even from college days in Calicut. I was teaching. I think I just love sharing it. I love passing it on. So then so then in UK I was just doing no teaching, nothing, and then I was getting restless because I needed to teach Pallavi, but I needed to have a job. I needed to make ends meet and survive and everything. So while the job was going on, somebody came and told me that there is my husband Sujit, who I had met in 2003, he came to know from one guy in Croydon, said he's looking for a dance teacher in this place in West Croydon. So I said, okay, I'll come. From St. John's Wood, I used to take the train with Pallavi and come to teach in Cornerstone House. In 2003, I started that. That is the beginning of Upahar, tiny Upahar. 4 or 5 students. Anika was one of them. Pallavi was one of them. And then I had 3 or 4 other students. Then slowly came Rima and Lilia and Daniela and who else? Mithu, Alicia, Anika's sister, Alicia, lots of them, Pia, all of them are with me now, and many of them are with me. Many of them have gone off to university and everything. But I started in that little place in West Croydon in 2003, and suddenly my life got excited again. My hard work of the week didn't matter because Saturday I could teach dance and I could be in dance. Then slowly when Sujit and I were very good friends, and I was telling Sujit, we got to know each other quite well, and then of course he proposed, and then I decided, okay, when Pallavi agreed that it's yes, you should go ahead, then I decided I'll get married to Sujit. And when I was working again, I was working in Neptune Software as head of market, finance and HR. Before that in Barclays, before that in Standard Chartered. Like I said, dance was on the peripheral. Then suddenly I just told Sujit one day, what I really, really, really want to do is dance. I'm not in this corporate world and all that. But ironically, I had got admission into LSE for management. I went and did my master's in human resource management. But all the time I think this is what I strongly tell my students as well. If you strongly wish something, keep thinking it, then keep saying it. The thought becomes a word, the word becomes action. As long as they're good thoughts and good words, you should do that. That is how you actually find your path. And it so happens today that I am not in the corporate world. I gave up Sujit, all because of Sujit. He said, if that's what you feel like doing, just go ahead and do that. And then I had my little one, Ammu. Ammu, can you come here? I had my little one in 2009. I was 42, I think. Yeah, I was 42 years old. Again, Sujit was so fond of Pallavi. He said, I don't want any children. And I said, no, we were going to have one. And we have this little darling. She's 10 years old now. She was born in 2009. And I was studying in LSE at that time. And that's when I told Sujit, LSE and all is fine. LSE and all is fine, but I really want to dance. So, but I didn't want to keep the baby at a daycare and all that stuff. So I decided I'm going to be at home, look after the baby, and do my dance. And then Upahar took off. I don't know, just very fortunate. Like I said, Goddess Meenakshi. It just happened. I named Upahar because Upahar means offering, or a tofa, or a gift. So I wanted to give this to the community. Sorry, a lot of images are flashing in my head. And then Upahar became from one branch. Now we have about 7 branches. Daniela, Pia, Pallavi actively teach in Upahar. They are my strength. They are going to take it forward. And I have the wonderful support of all of you, parents, students. My students are the most important. They make me. So thank you. Thank you to all my students and to everybody here in the UK. Meera, Chitra, Anusha, I don't know who all to name. There's so many people. Nina Head was so significant because she got us the first time Arts Council funding for our festival Nritya Upahar. It's an international festival which I've done 5 editions now. The first 4 completely on my own with little bits of support from here and there. But finally the 5th one we got funding and we were so happy thanks to Nina, and we were able to bring Kapila Venu who did Kudiyattam for the first time in the UK. So again Meera and everybody was so supportive. So such like this it goes on. I have to stop now because I want to show you the piece that I've planned. One small Abhinaya piece and one Nritta piece. So as we walk on outside, I'm just going to tell you the piece I'm doing. It's a padam called Variga Variga Sakhi. It is written by Kalyani Kutiyamma, choreographed by her. It's an Abhinaya piece, and then Pallavi and I will do a small Nritta piece. We're coming outside, so that in the back over there is our little dance to her friend, to Krishna, to Lord Padmanabha, and she asks, eagerly waiting for her return, and calls her and says, tell me what happened. Did you give my message? Go.
Okay, it's back, yeah. Okay, shall I start?
Yeah.
तन्नात्मप्रियनाय कृष्णसविधे सन्देशमन्बोडयचुन्निदुं मरुवाक्कु कात्तु मरुवुं त्वन्वङ्गि तन्तोळिये दूराल कण्डदि सम्भ्रमत्तोडुददा തട്ടിപ്പിടഞ്ഞേറ്റു ചെന്നാര ഗദ്ഗദവാണിയായി ഇതുവിധം ചോദിക്കയായോ മല വരിക വരിക സഖി വരഗുണൻ അവനെ കണ്ടോ 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 വരിക വരിക സഖി വരഗുണൻ അവനെ കണ്ടു വരിക വരിക സഖി വരഗുണൻ അവനെ കണ്ടു പ്രിയമോടൻ സന്ദേശം നീ വഴി പോലെ അറിയിച്ചോ പ്രിയമോടൻ സന്ദേശം നീ വഴി പോലെ അറിയിച്ചോ പ്രിയമോടൻ സന്ദേശം നീ.
We'll just do a short extract from the Tilana, Pallavi, my very senior disciple and my daughter, training in Bharatanatyam and Mohiniyattam, will do this Tilana with me. Little volume after. Because I have to change the ending.
വഴി പോലെ അറിയിച്ചോ
തകതീം തദീം നാദ്രതീം തതോം തകതീം തദീം നാദ്രതീം തതോം ദിനനാ തനദിതന തകതീം തദീം നാദ്രതീം തതോം
hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you once again to Munch UK, and please tune in tomorrow. This is such a lovely forum. Really well done to Meera's idea. She always comes up with wonderful ideas. And to the team, tomorrow is going to be Shruti Shah, a Bollywood choreographer, educator, dancer, teacher. Please tune in tomorrow to watch Shruti Shah. And if there's any questions or comments, leave it and I'll try to answer. Thank you and bye.